I think actually the hiring process in general that we experience in life is fairly flawed. You enter into a room or a Zoom room now with somebody. It's a 30-minute call. It's a 45-minute call. And you're supposed to base their performance and relationship for the next couple of years on that one conversation. And maybe it's, I'm having it and then someone else is having it. So now I've changed the process completely. We changed our process internally. Number one is I really look for high potential entry-level employees, especially in the early days. I have an assessment test that I've built.
Oh, what's on the, what kind of questions would you ask?
Yeah. So firstly, the assessment test, I used to use a software to do assessments. And it was an IQ test, and they started to beat those tests using ChatGPT. So suddenly all the people are getting A's on this test. And it's like, wait, what? So I actually built a different test. It's using something that I've developed that you can find online. There's an autism test it's a graphical representation that identifies patterns. And it's as close as you can get to an IQ test. I developed it in type form, and then I have it automatically zapped using Zapier into Google Sheets, and it's automatically graded. So right away, I can sort of funnel my process down. So the first thing is in my job description, I have a little golden egg that I plant. Like, if you're responding to this job, please just in the first sentence, make sure you read this entirely. Share with us your favorite 90s band. Great. They share the 90s band. Now they've passed part one. The second is this assessment test, which is part two. And that's been amazing. And by the way, I got 5 out of 6 on this. There's 6 questions. I call it the creativity quiz. It's 6 questions. 5 out of 6 I got. I didn't have patience for the last one. Probably could have done it, but I was like, I don't want to do this right now. And so essentially, I hire people that get typically 6 out of 6, but my limit is 5. And so some people are like, well, why does it have to be 6 out of 6? You didn't get 6 out of 6. Why do you hold people to a higher standard? And the reason is that I want to hire people that are smarter than me. I want people that are better than me to join the company.
Did you call it an autism test?
I just looked at some tests of pattern recognition online, and there's some tests around autism specifically, but I don't call it, it's not necessarily that, but I've developed some of these patterns and embedded them into type form that allow you to identify patterns in a test and then select a score. So it'll give you 3 different blocks, and the third block is missing. You just have to identify what is the pattern in the third block.
And you're looking for creativity.
Well, the first question is actually given to you. So some people, believe it or not, have gotten the first question wrong. So, but the first question is given to you. So there's really 5 questions that you can answer. And it's called, at least I internally call it, a creativity quiz.
Can you give me an example of one of the questions? Not the one that's answered, but give me one of your.
Oh, no. So it'll show you it'll show you 6 images and their patterns. And you have to 9 images, and you have to identify the 9th image. So there's one image that's missing, and you have to identify the pattern that makes it whole. It's interesting. And then just to continue on my process here, this is all to not make mistakes, right? Because I can tell you, I've been through so many painful hires and painful mistakes where we're both hurt in the process. And it's unintentional, but it's because of the hiring process. I feel that the hiring process is broken in my experience. This is my way to essentially not hire and make mistakes in the process, and alleviates a massive burden, because I really don't like having to have those parting conversations with hiring people.
Nor I. So there's the creativity test. Then what other elements do you use to?
So this is a new addition. So this is a new addition that I've added. It's new, and I have someone helping me around this, which is the culture index. It's more of a personality test, really just to figure out if you have the right butt in the right seat from a personality perspective. And I am not trained in culture index. I can't speak on it that well. I've hired somebody that essentially looks at the tests and gives me feedback on them. And if I have some intuition where I'm 50-50 on a candidate, this helps me become 51-49, one way or the other.
Got it.